out there are incredible. I mean, we are out here doing the absolute most, and even though we don't get nearly enough credit for everything we do and go through on a daily basis, we still know that we are the strongest people out there. On top of just being plain awesome though, we're also just built different, and it's pretty awesome. Today we're celebrating that and counting down the top 10 facts about the female body that sound made up, but aren't. Coming in at number 10, seeing more color. We all love seeing a good rainbow, right? After a bout of rain, some gloominess, and maybe some cold gray ickiness, seeing the sun come out afterwards and grace us with a beautiful, colorful rainbow just makes the storm worth it. Well, for females out there, that rainbow is a little bit nicer because we can see color better than males. We really do see the world better. Love that for us. Apparently, a study led by a psychology professor revealed that, quote, women are more adept at distinguishing between subtle gradations than men, end quote. This theme was revealed the most in regards to the color spectrum. The study revealed that females were able to distinguish tiny differences between color hues than men. So that means that next time you're going out with the girls and you ask your man to help you pick out a shoe to match your dress and it's between two shades of purple and he picks the one that clearly doesn't match, it's not his fault. His brain is just not as adept as ours. And that's fine. At number 9, smelling better. Now that we know that we can see better than males, let me tell you about how females can smell better than males, and I'm not talking about BO. I'm talking about our sense of smell and how it is stronger. According to a study, females have 50% more olfactory neurons, and though scientists believe that this may be responsible for why females have better and stronger senses of smell, they also have some theories as to the practicality of such a heightened sense of smell. Some scientists believe that this is an evolutionary trait that females acquired to, quote, help mother and child bond after birth and influences female selection of potential mates. Weird, cause there's Tinder for that, but hey. Whatever. The mating theory can also be backed up by the fact that women's sense of smell is heightened during ovulation. Does the practicality of this better sense of smell thing really matter in the grand scheme of things? Probably not, but it's still something interesting to note, and yet another thing that makes females superior. Now before I carry on talking about how awesome the female body is, I would like to first take a moment to ask you guys to consider leaving a like on this video if you're enjoying it so far, because it really does help the channel grow, and we love seeing you guys support our platform. Coming in at number 8, better brains. You know how a lot of guys complain about how their girlfriends just can't make a decision to save their lives? Like the age-old debate on where to go for dinner, it's always, babe, where do you want to go to eat? And we almost always reply with, I don't know. Well, there may be a reason for that. Turns out our brains are just built different and we think more. Females have a larger hippocampus and prefrontal cortex, and it changes the way that we think. These parts of the brain affect our social behavior, cause and effect thinking, and judgment. In other words, we think long and hard about the things before we make a decision, which is probably why I rarely shoot my shot when it comes to Tinder. I think too much. Thank you, brain. The prefrontal cortex in females starts to develop earlier in life compared to male prefrontal cortexes, which is why traditionally females take fewer risks than males at the same age. We start to rationalize our decisions earlier. This also affects the way that we converse because we include more details in our conversations, and is also the reason why that some men think that women talk too much and take longer to express ourselves. We just have a lot on our minds, and it's because our brains are better. Sorry, boys. At number 7, stronger immune systems. Because of the current pandemic that we've been going through for what seems like the last century and a half, researchers have been compiling data to see how COVID affects us, the rate of infection, who is affected more, and all that fun stuff. Research shows that on average, the virus is affecting more males than females, and there's actually a good reason for that. And it's not just luck. Females have a stronger immune system than males, so in a case like a global pandemic, it isn't affecting us as much as the boys. It isn't to say that we're immune, because no one is, but on average, more males are getting sick with the virus than women, and it's partially thanks to that extra X chromosome that females have. According to researchers, the microRNAs that are located in the X chromosome have some pretty important code in there to tell our body how to fight off viruses, and since females have 2 of them, we have the biological advantage when it comes to fighting off the flu or even COVID. Our stronger immune systems also have estrogen to thank as well. Having that extra hormone in your body at a young age has been seen to boost your natural immune system, making it more powerful and able to withstand more illness on average. Pretty cool to know. Coming in at number 6, higher pain tolerance. Whenever I hear someone say that females are weaker than males, I have to stop and think to myself, wow, what an idiot, because that is certainly not true. Females actually have a higher pain tolerance than males, and we just don't get enough credit for it. And that's totally not fair. Though pain tolerance normally varies from person to person based on a number of factors, it seems as though females are better at dealing with the discomfort of pain than males. A research team from McGill University and the University of Toronto conducted an experiment to see just how pain tolerance differs between males and females. Essentially, the researchers would have their subjects experience some kind of pain stimulus and rate the sensation. On average, more males rated their pain higher than females for the same stimulus. What makes this even more fascinating is the way that each sex remembered the feeling. The researchers found that males remembered the pain sensation more clearly and as a result experienced more stress when returning to the location where they experienced said sensation, but on the other hand, females really weren't bothered by it. They experienced less stress compared to the males when returned to the same location. We're just built to handle pain better, and that's pretty cool if you ask me. Halfway through at number 5, sensitive hearing. Did you know that on top of all the other amazing things about females, we can hear better too? That's the reason why we can hear our partners talking smack behind our backs. Well, not exactly, but it's just us being witches. But the better hearing thing really is legit. It turns out that females are hypersensitive to sounds during sleep, so that new parents are able to wake up more easily to the sound of a crying baby. What is the science behind this, you ask? Well, female brains are hardwired to pick up on higher frequency sounds. On top of that, our shorter latencies in our auditory brainstem responses, more spontaneous autoacoustic emissions, and click-evoked autoacoustic emissions are stronger than males, which just makes us more susceptible to sounds and better at hearing things than males. So next time you're trying to drop a subtle hint to your boyfriend about something you want for your birthday, speak up a bit, because apparently they can't hear you. At number 4, good with words. When I told you guys about how female brains are bigger, I mentioned that this is why people think that we talk too much. Because we just have so much in our brains that we need to express ourselves more due to the fact that we process more information and think more critically. Well, adding to that is the fact that females are better at verbal communication because we're really good with our words. This is because females have larger frontal and temporal areas in our brains compared to males. These areas of the cortex are believed to influence language and speech. On top of that, it is believed that females also have higher FOXP2 levels in the brain. FOXP2 is often referred to as the language protein and is said to help with our speech. On average, females speak up to 20,000 words a day compared to males who speak an average of 13,000 a day. So not only are we thinking more critically and analytically, but we are also able to express those thoughts better in great detail because our brains are just built different, and I think that's fascinating. At number 3, 2 uteruses. Now here's an awesome fact that might just blow your mind. Did you know that there are some people out there who are born with 2 uteruses? I mean, 1 is enough maintenance, but 2? That's incredible. Apparently, female fetuses all start off with 2 uteruses, 2 vajayjays, and 2 cervixes, and they're split by a wall that just goes away in time during gestation. However, in 3% of female fetuses, that wall never goes away, and that split remains there, giving them 2 of each. Most of the time when females have this split, they're given the option of which uterus they want to use. They literally have an option, and I think that's kind of OP. For some people who are born with this condition though, they find that one uterus is normally stronger than the other, and so sometimes that choice of which one to use is made up for them. But still, 2 uteruses sounds kinda dope. Females are kinda cool. At number 2, more flexible. You know what else makes females so freaking cool? The fact that we are more flexible than males. Yep. So back in the day when YouTube couples were trying the yoga challenge and the guy was always failing miserably, that's partially why. Females have a more flexible lower back than males, so on a regular old day, you're just naturally more bendy, but there's also an evolutionary reason for our flexibility. It's because when someone is pregnant, they're able to shift their center of gravity more easily. Remember, when you're growing another person in your body, you're going to gain weight, and it's going to affect the way that you're able to move. So if you weren't able to shift your center of gravity, then we would have pregnant people falling all over the place because their bellies would be toppling them over. But with the flexibility of our backs, pregnant people are able to adjust the curvature of their spine and increase it about 60%. This flexibility is also thought to help us carry babies in our arms as well, so in a way we are designed to not drop our spawn. Good to know. And finally, at number 1, more nightmares. Now this one is by far the most fascinating fact in my opinion because it's a little spooky, but also super freaking cool. We're gonna tie this all the way back to our superior brains, okay? Remember how females just think a lot more? Well, this is the reason why on average, females have more nightmares than males. Our brains are constantly going and constantly overthinking, and because we have stronger ties to our emotions, it can affect our subconscious and create nightmares. On top of that, females tend to have more nightmares based on their anxieties. According to one study, our nightmares can, for the most part, be broken down into 3 categories. Fearful dreams, being chased or life threatened, losing a loved one, or confused dreams. So while having more nightmares on average might not necessarily be a flex, it's still a pretty fascinating fact about females that I, for one, am glad to know. Now before I wrap things up, I want to know which of these facts that I talked about today shocked you the most. There are so many cool facts, it's hard to pick just one, but if you can pick, tell me your favorite from today's video down in the comments. Anyways, that's it for me. I'm your host, Miriam, and until next time, stay safe, make good choices, and stay sweet, bumblebees.